Hi, bonjour, mes amis. No issues here for the opening part of our game. None whatsoever. Hi, everyone. I'm
Never.
Eric. I'm Eric Vulgaris. They are he pronouns, and I'm playing the GM or everyone else on this game. I'm super excited. Doing a lot of prep for it. I've been reading the rules, but I just want to say first and foremost, I have not digested all the rules completely. There probably will be mistakes. So if you're looking at this for how to play this game, one for one from the rules, I'm really sorry, Luke. I'm really sorry. There's gonna be we're gonna get better at it. I know we are, but I think between the four of us, we'll get something going on. And speaking of the four, let's go around and throw it around the horn here. Adam, take it away. Who are you?
Hey, I'm Adam. He, him pronouns, very asleep. I don't have my coffee yet, but I think my wife and daughter are going to get me sometime in the middle, which is excellent. And I'm going to be playing Mouston. So, salut, and good luck to all of us. How about you, Colin? How are you doing?
I'm also tired. I'm Colin, he, they pronouns, and I am playing Picard Saint Michel. And I'll throw it over to Grant.
I'm Grant, he, they pronouns. I'm doing comme ci, comme ça, because we're going to throw a salut out there. We might as well throw out a little more French. And I am playing Valentine de la Tour.
Yeah.
She is a petty noble.
Yes. She is awesome. Okay. Okay then. So this is Miseries and Misfortunes. This is the 1648, the role-playing game. It's Paris, and our campaign is sort of around bits of the Holy Grail and trying to find the Holy Grail and sort of this sort of ancient rumors and relics that lie around Paris. But our motif, and this is the most important part of the game and what keeps us all together, is that we are friends to the end, and that the De La Tour name won't fall to ruin. Okay, so that's important to note. But anyways, this is the beginning scene, right? It is January 31st, 1648. It's in Paris, right? It's cold and snowy as this dismal, dreadful year limps forward. But the return of Le Masquette and a little bit extra coin in y'all's pockets, your spirits are kind of high. And what better way to just go get drunk? So you three, best of friends, attempt to rescue your fourth friend, Anton, from his studies and deliver him safely to a warm drink and a table at one of your preferred little taverns or salons, the Little Lamb, or Le Petit Agneau. But you're never going to hear... All right, so I'm really sorry if you're a French native speaker. You're going to... I don't know what to say.
They'll forgive
Right.
you, Eric.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
cool, you're trying.
All one of them.
Ça
They'll
va, ça
forgive.
va. Sorry.
So the Le Petit Agneau, the Little Lamb, off the Rue des Temps, which is the Temple Street. So you all just set the scene here as you all are kind of going hand in hand or hand in wine bottle. You pass the huddled poor, all kind of around, going up to the street. Some of whom you kind of have seen around before, and you know that they had homes last year. But unfortunately, you also know that they're probably not Catholic, and that's why they got the bad end of the stick. You see that there is a sort of group of holy sisters in black gowns. You know them as the Sœurs de Saint Gervais, the sisters of Saint Gervais, offering meager compassion and blankets, some poor comfort against the cold to whoever they can. Think of like a very, very, very thin dusting of snow around everywhere. You all see your breaths, gentle footprints in the sort of like mud and slush of the stones of Paris. It's probably about like 9 o'clock or so at night. Anyways, you all go to Anton's little flat nearby. You climb the crumbling stairs and knock on his meager door, but your pleas for Anton to come are not answered by anyone.
Perhaps we just let ourselves in. Is the door locked?
Yeah, if he's still asleep, we can go wake him up.
Right. He classic Anton is he's the nerd of the group, right? So his head is always buried in books. He's the student and scholarly type. You bang on the door and you don't hear a single response of anybody, right? You hear the gentle coughs and stuff of the ambiance of outside, but and maybe a family, sort of like the crackling of fires from a nearby apartment and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing coming from Anton's place. What do you do?
I look around. Are people paying much attention to us? We're just walking down the street. So
No.
yeah,
No,
nobody cares, right?
y'all would like duck down the little like narrow street. Remember, these streets are maybe like at best 10 feet wide, right?
Uh-huh.
Like where most people live, it's at like best. Most of the time, it's usually like 2 shoulders, right? It's not even 10 feet. It's
And
much
I
less.
mean, yeah,
And
you're with
serpentine
Picard,
and-
so
Yeah.
Picard is about as wide as the street. So just,
So you can hide us
just a
from whatever we
Dorito
need
of
to
a
hide.
man. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to kind of pick this lock and break in. I'm trying to figure out if that's actually something that I'm good at, because I'm not used to these skills yet.
Yeah, I was
In-
just gonna check to see if it's locked. Yeah.
I figured the bangs on the door. Yeah, you've been banging on that door, right? And it's been a couple minutes.
Yep. So
What do you
Grant,
think that skill would be?
Well, there's a list of skills. we
That's
can look at.
but I don't have a.
Is there
They're
a
in
window on the
they're-
front, or is it just a door?
No, it's just a door. Like this is like a small
Okay.
little flat, right? It's not
I got
like
it.
he's it's a room, not really an apartment or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like think of maybe like third story, right? Like you had to go up those little spiral, kind of like not quite like a Trinity house, but it's really one of those little narrow spots. Yeah, like he's like renting from another family, right? So you could probably maybe go talk to them if you wanted to and see what and get them to get the keys from them. Like that's a possibility. But like they also know you, right? So if you just wanted to like bang on the door or whatever, there's a familiarity here. But you just think your friend's either asleep or ignoring y'all.
I can check with the neighbors if
Yeah, go for it.
you want. Yeah. Picard is going to go over to the neighbor's door and rap politely with his knuckles.
Okay. Sure. Right. Okay. Yeah. So a very old but chiseled man opens the door, basically wearing some sort of like extra couple blankets, but also sort of like the underwear of the time, right? Like someone who's trying to go to like kind of in bed kind of stuff, right? So the door kind of cracks open, but he hears your voice and knows who you are. So of course he's going to come to the door and stuff and say, "Yes, my good man. What?"
God bless you on
What
this
is-
day, and forgive me for having roused you as you're about to take your rest. But Anton, you see there? He's not answering any of our calls, and we had a previous engagement with him.
Oh well. Seems that this is the night of previous engagements. Referring to how he was really hoping to go to bed and not answer his door. He looks to you and says, "Yes. Look. He just hands you the key, the big old like iron key to the thing, and says, "Look, and tell him that renters always due on the first, right? It's the evening of the month before rent, right? And he hasn't received his payment."
I shall be sure to have him attend to his business.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Picard is going to close the door for the guy.
He has one more thing, and one thing, yeah. Tell him to stop having so many people come over so late in the night. Not you, others. So loud.
What
Shakes his
did
head.
you?
Just return the key when you're done.
Picard will toss the key over to Valentin.
I catch it gracefully. Was it like a bunch of keys on a link, or is it a single key?
No, it's a single key on a
I
link.
wanted to catch my wrist through the ring, but
I mean,
instead, what I'll
there's
do,
still one, right?
yeah,
Just- yeah.
no. What I'll do is I'll catch it between two fingers and immediately hand it to Moustone. It's just kind of like, here, you open doors.
Just kind of fluid key in and turn.
Just perfect. One motion.
Valentin, our friend Anton, is a partier. Do you recall what wild parties he would throw? What gregarious and social nature he had?
book reading parties, poetry debate parties. Perhaps everyone gathers and begins sonnets they never intend to finish. He is not much of a drinker, not much of a lover either. And so I don't think any of his parties would be, well, even called such. They're really more like get togethers.
Then we shall see whether Anton has truly fallen into some slovenly habit or whether his landlord is a nosy piece of shit.
Have we been to his house before, Eric?
Yeah, you've been here before.
So we know where he's bookish.
Yeah, this would, most of it would be somewhere here. You know that he also has been working at another like bookstore, like a book collector, for things as well.
Well, we'll go up to his library or study or whatever it is.
I mean, his apartment is like basically a studio, right?
So we open the door and we see everything.
Yeah, you see everything,
and we see.
You can see dressers have been opened. The place has been kind of ransacked a little bit. There's a couple books. There's a couple books here and there around. Nothing like that looks like completely out of place, but there's no one here. The oil, like the oil lamps and stuff, are all off. It's cold. There's a draft. There hasn't been a fire in quite some time. Like as far as like investigation goes, right? Like imagine someone's been away for a weekend. They are not here. They are missing.
Okay.
So
we also know that he was at the booksellers for a couple of times. Maybe we could go down there and see what they think. Landlord's not paying any attention except for people showing up late at night. No. How different does this look from just a normal college room?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Right. Anton's not the person who goes out at night. You know, like Anton's the person who stays in, loves a cup of tea, reads a book. You know,
it doesn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense. It's also way too cluttered. Like Anton's not like that, right? He's obviously not like a super well kept individual.
He has a system.
Yeah. And no, there's no like signs of a struggle or anything like that, other than like just things have been opened and stuff. But it's just you don't get you all have that sort of preternatural sense that something's wrong. Like what? Like this isn't right. But you can't quite put your finger on it. But maybe if you rolled, maybe there would be the thing that would figure out why your hunch feels that way.
I think the card Simon show is going to look immediately for valuables. If this
loot him,
well, to see if he's been looted, because if this place has been ransacked and money is gone, oh no, our friend got robbed. And I think Picard living where he does, this is not something that he's unfamiliar with. This happens to people.
Right. It takes a robber, so to speak. Are you gunning for some sort of like additional bonus on this roll because you know them and like you know how to rob people? Is that what you're saying well?
I mean, no, but I'll take it if you're offering.
I was wondering if I should attribute you a modifier or not for that.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
I think
I am.
Yeah.
You need all the bonuses you can get.
Oh God, yeah, I do.
Makes sense for me. So I think this is a pretty clearly a search roll.
Okay. So I have a search 1 of 6.
Yeah. So like you're like going through like the dresser and stuff, right? Like anywhere that somebody would try to like hide something, right?
No, I think I'm getting distracted by some of Anton's more interesting books.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So I think while you're looking around, it's not that you don't find it. Instead, I think what happens here is that yes, you don't find what's valuable. But I think you find something else that's even worse here. So not only, like you find that yes, some valuables seem to have been missing, but so are some like regular set of clothes, and it looks like someone tried to get away in a hurry, right? Like so they packed something like like the little bag's missing, right?
Picard is going to turn to the others. Where would our little rabbit run if he was being pursued by some jackal?
I wouldn't want to stay in a ransacked room to discuss that in case. in case something else shows up and is going to get us in a pile of it.
I don't know. I would quite rather like
The cat
I would
tentacle.
rather-
Yeah.
I was like,
I would quite like for these jackals to show up that I might question them in person.
It's not the jackals, but the hounds that I'm worried about. The police.
Picard, a rabbit would go into a hole. Does Anton have anyone other than us he would trust in the city to hide with? Let's just walk and talk, and I want to exit and return the key. Yeah. Let's
We'll
walk and
lock
talk.
the door. We'll lock the door on the way out.
Okay. Cool. Unless if you just want to return the key and say he's not there or whatever, then you're just hit with the remarks of like, he tell him when he shows up that he better show up with his rent due, right?
Well, I was going to say we're going to go collect him to bring him back so he can pay rent.
Yeah.
I want to leave on a good term.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to
He's heard that one
reconcile
before.
the difference.
He's heard that one before though.
Not from me.
Oh,
I'm a noble. I am a noble person.
Yeah.
I'm going to reconcile this difference between you two, and I'm going to make sure your rent gets paid. I know he's fed you many tall tales and has made many excuses, but those days are over.
Are you saying this in terms of like reputation?
I'm saying we will squeeze every coin out of him that he owes you. Essentially, my intention here
Keeping
is
your
to
word.
keep my word, and I want whoever helped us to feel we will help them in return.
Yes.
He did not have to give us the key, but he did, and it's
Valentine,
like we owe you.
making friends.
Okay. Right.
Wherever they go.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we kind of like fans a smile, but he'll remember that, right?
And we're going to
Still kind
comp
of-
your meal.
Landlord will remember that.
Let's walk to the bookseller while we discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But what in particular were you thinking about talking about in the street here, Valentine?
Oh, well, I wanted to see. So the bookseller is a good place to check. That probably should be our next place. Are there any other places that Anton might go if he felt unsafe? Does he have any more distant relations that we have heard of? Any cousins or family members in town that he might run off to? Ex-girlfriends?
Oh yeah, right. So you know that he has a few, right? You know that he has a infirm aunt and uncle. You know that his younger sister is kind of taking care of them. You know that they let's see here. Let me roll a die fate. Okay, nope, they're doing okay. That's good. They have not been kicked off. They are definitely like, yes sir, Catholic. They are, but they are also sort of like in the neighborhood. But they're a little bit up north here. So I know you all. I'm sorry, chat. I don't have a Roll20 screen set up for the rest of the game. But for us players, you can see this blue line on the map. That's the Rue de Temple. That is the actual street there. And the further away you get from sort of the island, you know, Notre Dame and stuff like that. I don't know what the actual island is called, but that's where the cathedral is. It gets a little bit.
Cité.
Yeah, it's a little more ritzy, a little nicer. And then a little directly south to it is one of the major places of like one of those court de miracles. You know, the places where a lot of the poor and immigrants go. But no, you never like been there, but you know them, but it would require you to like ask some people and that kind of stuff, right? Sort of follow things around. So who do you think? It's again like it's nighttime. You don't really like you know of these people, but you know like because Anton spoke of them, but you don't really know exactly where they live. You know, and Anton's mostly hung out. You know, he has some like student friends and things around, but if they're around, you don't know where they live. But if they're students, then they're probably in one of these different establishments. If you want to, you know, you what I'm saying here is that I know as players, you don't exactly know the city and know the tools, but your characters would.
Okay.
But I want to know your approach here. Would it be? It's probably going to be social in nature because it's nighttime and you have to use people to figure out where things are. But I want to kind of hear like how would you go about doing that? Would you?
Picard
Yeah.
would be interested in visiting one of the taverns or salons, especially if they have wine, to
Yeah.
to find a student friend that he can intimidate.
Yeah. So there's a few. The one that you were trying to go to earlier, the little lamb.
Hmm.
That's one. The cycling pig is another. There's a few like here and there around, right? They would all be pretty cramped and busy.
Okay. Yeah, that's where Picard wants to start.
Okay.
I will travel with Picard.
Yeah, we're gonna stick together.
Okay.
We were on our way to the bar, so we
go
might
to
as
the
well
bar.
stick together and go to the bar.
At least for a quick snort, nothing.
Right.
We won't forget about Anton, but a quick snort, I think.
Right. You remember you all have high spirits, and you're like, well, that's what the hell, Anton. So yeah, you'll do that. So let's go there, and following which, I think that's going to require probably let's see, it's probably like, do you think it's a listen check or do you think it's a search check for your friend here in general, or is it kind of like actually is it parlay, as you're kind of just like, it's more of like a casual circles roll, like you're trying to find the person who would have this for you, right?
I'd say parlay because I'm not eavesdropping and I'm not like getting elbow deep in something. I'm really negotiating with people like, oh, do you know of students? Do you know
Right.
some people in the area, and then trying to winnow down and maybe how many drinks I have to buy them to get that information.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and searches, secret compartments, hidden doors, lost items. I feel like it's
parlay.
not very much of a person finding type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an absolute fail.
Well, remember one of your options here is spending
Yeah,
that life
yeah.
with
Yeah.
which you
Reroll
have
or
so
Absolutely.
much of it.
I'm so young. Yeah, I'm gonna spend Mortal Coil. So I believe I re-roll with a bonus, or is that if I spend again?
So Mortal Coil can be spent multiple different ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on how you want to do it. Do you know the page of the book it's in, so I can tell you
71.
exactly which page, what the options are? I know
I'm
one of them's a
looking
reroll.
for. Oh, there we go. 73. If you spend Mortal Coil to re-roll, increase your rating by +5.
Yeah.
Which means that
Okay.
if your rating was a 1 of 6, it is now a 6 of 6, which makes it a 7 of 8. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so I have 2 of 6, so +5 makes it a
7 out of 6.
A 9 of 10.
So 9.
9 of 10. Okay, I like that. All right, I passed that.
Okay. There you go. So just mark down you spent one exertion or one bit of your coil. Okay. Right. Okay. So what this looks like, let me. Okay. This is perfect. You find his best friend at the bar. That's why you succeed so well. It's not right. It's one of those things where it's not working out until literally like, you're like, well, what the hell, Anton? And no one really like understands, but and then right through the door, like as you all are refilling your glasses, comes one of Anton's student friends. A woman by M.A. or Amy.
Yeah, I think Picard will immediately head to them and dip a bow, a short, polite one. Say, Ame, it is I, Picard Saint Michel, friend of your friend Anton.
She blushes, kind of looks away. Without too much, like, she seems kind of scared when you like, this wasn't supposed to happen.
I apologize. We have a great debt that we owe Anton, and we should to pay him, and this debt, at least 2 wines and perhaps 1 plate of food. I think you being so close with Anton should receive this in his stead. Him lacking some of the manners to be with us here tonight.
No. Well, I thank you, my good sirs. I was hoping maybe someone. I came here hoping to find someone who would know about Anton. So how fortuitous of this, but it sounds like he is not with you.
Not yet.
No,
We
not
hope
yet.
to meet him later tonight.
Have you dropped by his apartment?
Yes.
Oui.
And was everything okay?
No.
He's been.
That's cheat French.
Right. Yeah, he's been. So she begins to like explain how like he's been like tracking down some things of the he's been going more and more into some older books, and his studies have sort of kept him down there, specifically about the history of the Knights Templar.
I think we're all like looking between ourselves and being like, okay, yep,
Yeah.
This is Anton.
Yeah, but he's been just this past couple. Like I saw him a few days ago, but he's been getting more and more cold and distant, more scared, and I wasn't sure about him. But it sounds like you haven't seen him in some time either.
I am lately returned to Paris, and I'd hoped to spend some time in the cups with my good friend Anton.
I like that. I never heard "in the cups" before.
In the cups.
It's really good.
Yeah. So I guess what she would say is, well, if we know that he's about these things, then perhaps we should combine our efforts here. Should work together and figure out where Anton is.
Absolutely.
You said he was afraid.
Yeah, he's been getting more and more worried. I think it's because of, she kind of like points, outside and to the church goings, this area and pressures, and he's been kind of critical of the church lately.
Picard is going to turn to the other two and say, gentlemen, I am red-blooded in most days, and so I wish your opinion whether I need go fetch my musket, or if that is just a soldierly instinct unused to this peace.
Paris is not a battlefield, Picard.
Is it? Is it not?
Mon Dieu, Picard. You get one good shot off on a musket, and I have a feeling that we're gonna have to lay a few into people. So we've got three of us. We got my trusty cane and fists. I think we can do just that. Maybe when we know we're running right into trouble, we can regroup with the musket. But if we're walking around Paris with the musket, I have a feeling we're gonna have more trouble than we want.
Besides, I have my sword, and I am in constant practice.
Very well.
The kind of willily lunge. Ha
That is true. You are one of the few people who does get to walk around with a weapon.
I have the right to wear a sword.
I smack your sword with my cane.
No, and like the thing is, it's like I didn't pull it out. I probably would have held up like a broomstick if there was one in the
Nice.
Like, look.
I shall attend your wisdoms then. However, if there comes such a time tonight where one of you thinks, oh, but for a musket, oh, but for a single charge of powder, know that I will not relinquish the right to be smug.
I get the sense that you want to bring a musket on like almost everything that we do.
Yeah.
Like we went out to the bar yesterday and we had to really push you not to bring your musket just to the bar.
Picard likes to go to church with the 12 apostles. All right, that's
Eric, what do you think about that in the city? If we walked around with a musket, a soldier carrying a musket, would we draw way more attention?
I think it's like they're huge, and
Yeah.
I'd need like a match cord and like a bandolier of the 12
Yeah,
apostles.
like I'm just trying to
like,
make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yes, a musket is sort of not city material.
Colin
per se.
knows that.
Yeah.
Picard,
I mean,
Picard
do you,
knows that too. He just didn't give a shit.
have you
Some
seen
places,
you've obviously seen muskets around, but that would be
Right.
like sort of like, you know, like a gendarme kind of situation and stuff,
Yeah.
right? It's not, you know, or like a more like a soldierly drill and stuff.
Yeah, he's
in
not
the
traveling with
city.
like a unit or anything.
Exactly.
It's just weird.
Right.
Yeah, but like a lone person with a musket, no. No,
yeah,
definitely
Picard, you know, I just don't want to get the authorities involved in anything
Um,
that I'm doing.
Mm.
not just that, but like, I mean, the authorities here again, like, so just to paint this picture, there's no cops in Paris at this time.
Right.
That doesn't exist. Okay. Instead, people would be like another noble would be charged in sort of like finding out something, and they would basically just make a posse or a brute squad, and basically have, as long as they have the writ of you know, say like the provost of Paris or some underling of that bureaucracy, they could pretty much do what they want.
Well, I'm also talking about the church authority,
Right.
who I also don't want to get involved in anything.
Right. And so in terms of politics around your area where you live, there are certain things that you definitely know. Maybe La Mascotte, this is a little bit like you don't know this, but as a player, you should know it, right? You know that the church here, right, the particular is kind of the power center, especially because sort of the heads of the church are best friends with the provost of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of like get to do everything here. You know that they've been kicking people out who have been sort of non-Catholic and sort of basically like ransacking anything for belongings.
Okay.
So what this looks like to you all would be either this is a simple robbery, he's hiding from somebody, or like maybe, you know, he was kind of critical of the church and now he's, you know, he got kicked out, but, you know, or something like that, right? He got caught up by people. And don't think of it's like a bunch of priests doing this stuff, right? It's, again, it's brute squad people who are connected with higher people who do these things in return for basically criminal immunity, right? Because they can just do, you know, they can just go arrest people. Think of like entire city run by like Dog the Bounty Hunter, right? For whenever they want something.
He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, right. I know, it's like seriously, like if you are given a noble
Love it.
a task, a writ to do this type of thing, then you kind of can, because you just, as long as your benefactor has your back, like, you know, I'm not saying you don't like just go murder everybody, you know what I mean? Like, but
Valentin
you have
needs to
a
get
lot of
one these
flexibility.
writs.
And when it comes to people critical of the church, your flexibility is increased, right?
There are a great many things Valentin would like to get, but I am but lowly in this great city.
Yeah.
But I have ambition.
For now.
Right.
I will stand on the shoulders of the masses.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
myself a writ.
Yeah,
No.
right. The general air of this tavern isn't like revolution or anything like that, but it's certainly grumbling about the church, and they don't, you know, and how aggressive they are about removing people,
Yeah.
and they kind of just give the apartments then over to just like their friends and lackeys, right? Like anyone is rewarded. I mean, if you basically, it's a pretty sweet program, right? You just forcibly evict people, and then if you're a lackey, you just, you know, you might get an apartment, right? Like it's kind of that kind of deal, right? It's sort of a loyalty program.
I think Picard is a little wistful right now, and talking to Miston, being like, I miss this city. I miss the complaining. No one complains like us Parisians. Down in the lowlands, in the blood and the gore
The mud.
of the Dutch rebellion, they kept such good and honest spirits. It's good to be back in a place where everyone is properly miserable. It's so much less off-putting.
You're a regular grognard at this point.
Yeah. How do you
That's my contribution to the French.
do you do you reject that notion, Muston?
No way. Everybody that I talk to complains to me.
So yeah, that's true. So you're kind of a realist.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's like the vector along which Mustan and Card get along.
So you don't have a so do you, so for understanding then for my own picture here, do you have a lot of love for the city in Paris, Mustan?
Uh, it's a place. I'm
It's a place.
I don't care about the politics.
Yeah.
So I'm just uninvolved. My religion puts me in a place where I try and get uninvolved in that as much as I possibly can as well.
Right.
But I'm still French, and Paris is still the jewel of France.
Yeah. It's
So
home. It's got a lot
yeah.
of problems. That's fine.
I know it really well. That's so it's nice to know things really well.
That's right. You do know it very well. So if you ever want it, so like, how do you all want to like interact when like pull strings and stuff? So rather than like investigating each individual person and talking for clues, like to sort of like move it, and amalgamate it. Do you want to just let it ride from your role here, Muscat, Colin? I feel like your exertion and things and letting it ride of like you asking around will sort of like lead to the conclusions here. But it's nice because you know Me. Me's also kind of like his lover or friends with benefit situation, right? Or maybe like wanted to like court kind of thing, but it never maybe like once I graduate we can get married kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, and just an aside, when you get an opportunity, could we get a handout for notes and like NPCs to write down?
Oh yeah,
on
sure.
Roll20?
That makes sense. We should have a general handout for notes.
But I mean, I'm fine letting it ride. I like feeling
Or Google Doc
like
it.
I did something.
There you go. Notes general.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what's going to happen then is, so we kind of like have that sort of montage, right, of trying to talk to people, trying to figure out where things are going, trying to see like if he did run afoul with anybody, right? And that's sort of the sad part, is that it's absolutely true. It seems like people talk about that he was caught up in sort of the last batch of people getting sort of arrested and questioned by. And this is the worst part of it all. And this is sort of like the worst of the brute squads going around. Their name is a name that definitely creates fear. Le Bavarois, the Bavarian. He is a mercenary of ill reputation. Him and his sort of army, of deserters from the fronts, kind of moves and wrecks with impunity as sort of an arm of members of the church. Very like super Catholic.
We might want that musket.
Super Catholics.
This is like the hands are itchy for some wood grain in them.
He kind of, like that the mercenary. Well, I mean, he's not a mercenary anymore, right? But he doesn't have a lot of love for the citizenry of Paris. So he has a particularly heavy hand when it comes to getting the job done, and he has a terrible reputation for it too.
How does my noble feel about him? My noble master, whose name I didn't write down here. But
Aden. What is it? Aden. 1 second.
I have it on
Aden.
my
Might be Aden.
It's Aden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they feel about this person?
A monster. A monster to be killed, or arrested, right? If things were right in the world, which as a frondeur, they're trying to make right.
Yeah,
the frondeurs are absolutely, like, you would know that the frondeurs are absolutely against this sort of like taking over a property, and
Totally.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you can always avoid your getting evicted if you pay the right fees and stuff like that, right? Like, just so it's clear, it's not just like they show up. It's a process, and you have to file some paperwork. By that I mean give money in the right pockets, and then you're obviously a good Catholic and you're fine. But if
Might
not,
have-
then they check to see for your loyalty, so to speak, right?
Okay. So we know now that he was likely picked up, or he was afraid of the Bavarian. So it sounds like we need to find the Bavarian.
Yeah.
Do we know where they are?
You know where they like to hang out, but especially right now they don't really go into hiding or anything like that. Like they are well known. They feel sort of untouchable as long as the church has their back. So I would point out that this is like a group of at least 8 or so former soldier type individuals. This would be like you like getting in a fight with them would be like a death sentence if you fought them head on, right? Like there's just no way. And I want to convey this sort of like tier and scale of these people, right? When you hear them, like you're like, oh crap, and this person's always kind of around their friends, and they're basically a gang, right?
So we will have to form our own gang.
Yeah, I mean that's totally possible. I mean there is plenty of people who've been wronged by the church, but that would be like Aden, one of them. Aden is currently paying fees and stuff like that to make sure some of his apartments and stuff aren't taken, or his offices. There's plenty of frondeurs around that would be like upset about this, and that could possibly be stirred to action, right? Alternatively, you could be sneaky, find out where they are, and hit them when they least expect it, right? Depends on the type of people you are. And again, it's like hurting them would not necessarily get Anton back either.
Right, unless
and
we
you also
think that they have Anton, which I don't think. I don't know that Picard
No, they have-
thinks that.
No, I'm sorry. That was I think it was a detail that I said that but it was really quiet. Yes, Anton has been rounded up with a bunch of others.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
For the past couple of days, so they're being kept somewhere.
Well, we don't know where.
Right. I think yes and no. Can you? Because you asked that question, Adam. Can you roll a die of fate for me?
Yeah, sure.
Because this is how much you know of like rumors and things of the town, right? Like, because when people are round up, it's not like they just go completely missing. Like, they're kind of like taken some places, and where people say they're taken, right, depends, right? So for a 3, yeah, you've heard that they've been taking people to an order like a not quite in the Court of Miracles, but it's a dilapidated like an older church nearby. It's sort of like a church of the Holy Trinity, and they kind of have been taking people there, or at least you've heard like kind of like kept there for the night. Like they're kept in the church, like in a basement or whatever, for like warmth, community, blah blah blah, right? Like it seems more happy where it is, and obviously in a church you have a chance to confess, like proper protocol here of things, as sort of like a way to pressure people and make sure they're Catholic.
A bunch of people got taken, right?
Right.
We can probably find options. It feels like to me are we could round up a crew of people who are attached to the taken people and just storm it.
Yeah.
Revolutionary style.
Yeah.
Which would let you use your musket at least.
Yeah.
Or we could try a sneaky way and just get our friend out.
Yeah.
Well, I think rounding up the posse sounds really good, but I think in terms of consequences, that's really doing the opposite for easing religious tensions in the city.
But it sounds awesome.
It sounds so fun.
It's easy to build a character and it's really fun.
Yeah,
so
I think maybe we should look towards the fact that Valentin is super Catholic and technically a noble. I think we may have better luck talking our way in and jailbreaking or being a little sneaky.
Yeah.
I want a
Of course
shirt
you
that
can.
says that technically noble. It's
Technically noble.
Oh yeah, like on the like charging in there and being like, unhand my friend, kind of thing would absolutely be, especially you, Valentin, would be 100% like for the course. Like that is totally possible, right? Like you are someone of import, and so when you show up, people have to defer to you, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking through here too.
You can flex that muscle for sure.
My musketeer novel training.
Yeah,
it's not uncommon for someone like Valentin to show up either and be like, "Hey, I've brought lunch. We're gonna lunch together." And the prisoner lunches with us, and it's just kind of like, "So everyone, what are you all doing here?" "Oh, I'm a prisoner." "Really?" "Well, yeah, but we're all friends. We all end up in jail from time to time." I'm thinking we march in there. Yeah, so it's almost. I'm almost thinking, it kind of has to be this this little. We've got to steal the body out of there. So essentially, like, we got to get in. We've got to create a situation where we can get them out.
Sure.
If I just demand, they're either going to want something in return or they're going to resist. I think we have to pull something sneaky.
Okay.
We might even need someone that we can leave in the body's place, because they'll get in trouble if our friend, if Anton has left and there's not someone else there to fill the cell. Just thinking out loud. So I'm looking at passerbys on the street.
So
you're roughly his build.
It's not a dungeon or a prison with multiple cells.
No. I get that,
basement.
but it's okay. I get that, but you got to leave someone there. You got to leave. I'm not thinking like leave a body in the place. Okay. I'm thinking like it's all about ownership, right? It's like they have someone, they're holding someone hostage, they're doing whatever they want with them. Well, here's why that might not work. Why would they pick Anton of all people? They went to his house. They chose him specifically. Let's barge in and just release him. Yeah. Mace Windu style. Fire up our lightsabers.
I am the lightsaber here. So Picard is like, so shall I get my musket? Or?
Get your musket. I think it's helpful if they see, if I come in with the authority, the sword,
I'll be your dog's
me.
body. I'll be your bodyguard. I'll be in my full regalia, actually.
When I see your face light up, Mooston's just slow head shake.
You get your musket. I'm going to change into my finery, and then I'm going to ask for Anton's release.
Totally. Okay. So then you'll show up to the Church of the Holy Trinity, and cool. So then how about we take a 3-minute break so I can get more coffee?
Yeah.
And then we'll do a duel of wits, right? As you're showing up there demanding the release of your friend.
There's nothing that could go wrong with this. Yes.
Totally. That'd be awesome.
No, not at all.
Awesome. Yeah.
Mind virus.
No, this will be fine. It'll be totally fine. All right, so don't go anywhere, anybody. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. So for the last part here this morning. All right, see you on the other side of Miseries and Misfortunes. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back, and we're going to do some Duel of Wits as our group descends to the Church of the Holy Trinity, demanding the release of their friend. Okay, cool. So, you all are going to show up to the church. This is sort of the things where, like, you know, there's a bunch of people hanging out outside of it. No one's like really like related to the church. It's just, you know, it's a place to sleep, a place to relax, right? It's nighttime. They're sleeping under the doors and stuff. Think of Paris as being, so it's not like modern Paris at all. It's very, very, very narrow streets, and there's so many gosh darn people. Right. So you kind of like you make your way up there. So up the 10 or so little stairs here. The door is kind of like cracked open. Is this like do you all barge in here and announce your intentions of who you are and what what you're doing, or is this like or are you gonna make introductions first and then kind of like we get into it? Like, what's your approach here? How angry are you?
Well, my first question would be, do they recognize me when I approach?
Have you been here before?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Then yeah, I think they would. Ooh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think a clerk of the church, a monocled man. He's always kind of like old, kind of stooped over. Looks at you all, looks at you and says, "Oh, yes, right away. Now, de la Tour, right? That's your last name, right?"
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Yeah, right. And you're currently operating incognito, right, as a man, right? So this, like, Monsieur de la Tour would be like the thing, right?
Yeah, they would refer to me, my gentilhomme,
yeah, Yeah.
I'm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm referred to with a general title. So.
Yeah. Monsieur, what brings you so far so late of an hour?
It is still early in many parts. I'm afraid, sir, that you have caused me a deep and grievous wound to my reputation.
Your reputation?
Yes, I had
we would wish nothing of the sort. What? Please tell me of the troubles. Let us make amends. I feel like I have wounded you in...
A horrible public embarrassment. I was supposed to meet and present my good friend Anton in part of our research to a group of dignitaries, but he was not present today. And I was told that he was wrongfully taken and brought to this edifice.
Oh, well,
Blessed be.
We don't wrongfully bring people here. Certainly there must be something going on, something worse at stake. Tell me of this Anton. They give the description of him.
Yeah, I give the description, weaselly features, saggy jaw, noodly arms. No, I'm sorry. Just like,
bookish.
It looked like just like Molly from The Wind in the Willows. No, yeah, he's just,
that's kind of one of those, that's a touchstone for sure.
Yeah, he's unkempt. He possesses a strange odor, and he clearly has the features of a man from southern France, who is foreign to this city, but is one of us in blood and kinship. And what we want to do is, he was taken here. People saw him. They directed me here. My whole day has been wasted, and my days are very important.
Right, of course. He's being very polite with you, but also like kind of trying to block you as much as possible here.
Yeah, I love this. It's so French.
Oh, well, there must be some kind of misunderstanding, right? There's no way like we're doing this to you, right? Okay, so I think this is when we announce our intentions, right, and do our will.
Yeah.
So you're kind of close up to him, right?
We are face to face. It's like we are.
You're not in his close. Face. Yeah, you're not in his face.
I'm not in his face shouting, but I'm very close because
he
needs to see my distress. Yeah.
Right. And you're all
like we were talking at a party.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And the lighting of the day is big old candles, right? Like the idea, like the medieval torch thing never happened. That's not actually what people do. They carried around giant ass candles. Okay?
Yeah.
That's just so you know.
Yeah,
so everything here is candle lit.
Very Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, right. It's like they're really, really, really old, cheap candles. Candle making was a big deal back then. Everyone needs big old candles. Okay.
Cool.
So So we have to declare our intentions here, which I think you kind of did, and I think I haven't been clear what their intentions are with you, right? Saying that I've
A little
been
bit.
wronged,
If
and I
they're
would love
trying
to
to
find
keep
them.
me out,
Yeah. I assure you, no friend of yours would be here because all of your friends are of great reputation. There's no way we would make this mistake. So, something must have gone wrong somewhere, and no one's to blame. Perhaps the Habsburgs, like
my idiot brother. No.
right, like something, yeah, like there's something else, there's something worse going on. The devil is at play, some trickery, but this wouldn't be malicious to you, right? Oh, of course, it certainly would never be malicious to you, Monsieur Valentine. Like that kind of thing, right?
Picard
But
is
yeah,
just,
totally blocking you.
Picard's just chugging gunpowder in the back.
There's a more there's a more nefarious masquerade afoot.
All right, and so
if what you say is true.
My intention is, I kind of want to intimidate my way past this. It's like, well, give me your name, and I'll make sure that it is heard by, Sergeant DuPont. And as we discussed with Sergeant DuPont, the illegal and wrongful seizing of my friend Anton, who must be in this edifice, we will search every corner, and we will uncover every...
Hold on. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Because I feel like this is a weapon. What you're doing is a weapon. I think you're imploring them. So I think before we do that stuff, I think we need to do a couple bit about the turn structure. Sure. And declare our weapons first off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
You have to set the scene and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just riffing as well. So if it ends up being a weapon, yeah, it is.
So also, do you have your will already generated?
I believe I had a 4. It was like 1d3 twice because I'm only 22.
Right.
I might even... Yeah, let me double check. No, my will was 3, and then I want to say I had a modifier. Nope, it is what it is.
Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, figuring this part out of the game is totally normal.
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay, so the way that the book talks about it, it sounds like when he walked in here and said, "Where's my friend Anton?" That right there was the announced intentions.
Right.
So there doesn't need to be too much more of it.
And the other person he's certainly not here. Yeah, he's willing to hear you, but he's saying certainly not. He's certainly not here. And there's some kind of mistake.
And so, then you just drop right in. Yeah.
So I was trying to see if they're No, he does not add general will or anything for the stat blocks of the rogues gallery. No, because
it's your hit points and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I was just. Well, I mean, HP is there, but will isn't. So that's why I was wondering.
Will's your social hit points.
I know. What I'm saying is that there's stat blocks for characters in the back for a rogues gallery, and will is not included in them. And before I rolled randomly stuff, I wanted to see if it existed, but it doesn't. So I have to privately roll that real quick. Awesome.
And then we've got this big room.
Yeah. So you're in it is one big room. It is about 15 pews by 15 on each side, right? Then sort of the altar and everything like that. Here, remember, it's super candlelit. The pews are basically all kind of occupied by sick and the poor, staying in here right now, right? Anyone looking for refuge. And you're kind of I imagine right now this is an Aaron Sorkin walk down the aisle right now, right? Behind them, there's sort of a nice old fresco of sort of the Virgin Mary, Jesus, wherever the Holy Spirit, the three people are, the Holy Trinity, right? It's sort of a gesture of that, a big old crucifix, wooden, and again, a lot of candles, not a lot of brilliance here. This place was maybe brilliant 50 years ago, but now it is certainly not as happy, and it's fallen more disrepair as more and more money is kind of siphoned from who would be getting money from here, and kind of all going to the Church of Saint Gervais, right? Funny how that works. Okay. All right. So I generated their will. You have your will. Remember, if your will is reduced to half during an exchange, you must test sang froid. And if your will is reduced to 1, you also must test sang froid.
Okay.
Right. And if you're reduced to 0, you concede a point. You must retire from the Duel of Wits or choose an appropriate victory effect to take hold of your characters here. Okay. So.
Yeah.
I think with permission, you have the higher initiative order. Because you have the higher reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they defer to you first. But we have to then declare weapons.
Okay. So without getting ahead of myself, just checking the list, because originally the way I was coming in, it actually would be a threat. So I'm like, I'm going to go get the sergeant, and we're going to come here, and we're going to turn over every stone, and we're going to check this church out to make sure there's no sign of it. I think in this situation, I wouldn't escalate so high.
Yeah.
So I think what I would do is
that could have also been a shame or an accusation weapon.
Yes, I'm trying to put them into position. So
I think it was
Okay.
shame, because you're trying to accuse them of, like, I know people, and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
well, we also said timeout. We've
Or
gotten
threaten.
ahead of ourselves. So
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, so it's also one of those things. So I'm trying to think how I'd come at this as a character. So I'm going to be my character. The first thing I would do is I would say, well, I need to speak to a more competent clerk then, because obviously you have gone blind. I think I'm insulting them. It's like, give me the other clerk, the one that actually knows things.
Yeah.
If they want to play dumb, treat them dumb.
Yeah, right? So how'd I go over their head? You want to go over their head. And they're going to respond by very, very daggeredly. They're going to threaten you and be like, well, I mean, I don't think the church would be very happy with you insulting a priest like that, monsieur. You know? Treating us of the cloth in such a way, in this precarious time, in a house of God. That kind of stuff, right?
You still sin.
No, totally. So that's the weapon.
No. Yeah, I get that. All right. So he's my target. So how does this work? I've never done one of these.
We're in speaking distance from one another.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is on initiative, you check your distance, your speaking distance. Are you going to move closer to them or further away?
I'd move closer.
Okay. Yeah, so you get in their face.
Mm-hmm.
So you're intimate.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
I want this in with a
So-
priestly smooch.
So help me. Yeah. Yeah, so like help me or ... right? Okay.
Yeah.
So then, you check your target number. You weren't threatening them, right?
No, it's insulting.
Yeah, you were insulting them. You're insulting them. It's their target distance, so it's their target intelligence, I think. Cool. So then that would be... Okay, cool. It's a 10.
All right. So what do I roll?
So I'm looking for the actual damage of it.
I think it's 2d4, something like that. There's a
Yeah.
chart.
I think it's a skill
that'd be
check.
damage. Yeah, you have to roll the. You're rolling to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Is it a 20-sided die?
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got
20-sided die,
Yeah.
and if
Just
you're
like a
using your
combat.
voice, you add your charisma modifier.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
using the voice. Is this Dune?
Your
voice.
voice.
I got a 9. I think I missed. Right.
You did
I rolled
miss.
one.
The goal was a 10.
Oh.
You don't have any charisma bonus?
No, I have very bad scores.
Well,
Valentine,
hold on.
Valentine has a ton of life
Before-
left.
Right, before we move on, are you fine with that roll of a 9? Or would you like to burn some life? That's so good. Burning life.
There's so much of it.
Burning life.
I would
It's
burn
so good.
life.
You're not going to use all of it.
And the first one's free. That's the other deal.
All right, so we got people in the audience, and this is my first time playing. So when we burn life, exactly what are we doing, and how does this work?
It's your mortal coil, and what you do is you expend some of your mortal coil. It raises your stat by 5, but also allows you to reroll. So you can like do it to like boost yourself. Think of it like Pendragon, like it's a calling on a passion, right? But this, you're burning your candle. Of life to do it.
Ooh, yes. So I think
it's
the way
page 73 is the actual mechanics of it. But let me read them all to you, right? So if you spend a mortal coil to reroll, you increase your rating by 5. If you take a second reroll for the same task, increase your rating by 10. A third reroll increases by 15, and a fourth is by plus 20, if not possible to exert yourself any further. These bonuses can trigger critical hits, and you cannot reroll damage results with them. That make sense?
Yeah.
And you also increase the die steps by spending this, right? So each time you do it, like this is how that works, right? So you re-roll and you add the plus 5. Does that make sense?
Yes. So
you can also force a re-roll.
I made it on the second time, so I spin my mortal coil. I burn my candle. It's one of those things where I start to pout a little. I flinch. Maybe they even see through my disguise for a heartbeat before I go back to looking like my brother. And so I'm gonna mortal coil.
You do D4 damage.
They die. I need a
D4 will damage.
3.
Nice.
Ooh, okay. They have to test sang froid because they are reduced by over half. And of course, they're definitely not trained in sang froid, but I would think a priest would be here. They're probably 1 out of 6 then.
Well, if they're not trained, I have a couple of zeros on my sheet. Like super not trained is a 1 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Just normal not trained is a 1 out of 6.
This person. Yeah, I think they're 1 out of 6. I don't think they're like absolutely untrained, but they're sort of like they're kind of like a canon. They're kind of just like a scholarly fella.
This
not
is
really
above their pay grade.
Yeah, this is well above.
Yeah.
Let me redirect you to my manager.
Here we go. All right, on a D6. On a low, it's D10. On a high, it's D6. There you go. It's a D6. They have seen some shit in their life. That's why they have a monocle. So here you go. Sang froid, 1 out of 6. No. Surprising nobody. Shit. So what happens when you fail a sang froid test? Do they stammer?
That's a great question.
As per the morale rules. Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, I think they're showing their belly.
Yeah.
That's in skirmish, right?
It also did some reputation damage, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it does 0 or 1 points of reputation damage.
For an NPC, I'm not sure if we care, but for this person, but in the general sense, that is very much.
Morale is. How do you determine morale? Morale is rated from 0 to 10. Okay.
Yeah, I've got 6 morale.
If morale drop, must +1.
Failure. If you reduce your target to half their will, they must pass the sang froid. Failure indicates they miss their next action.
They clam up.
Yeah, so they stammer.
Yeah, that's page 85. And then page 86, insult victory effect. Your target is angry with you and either quietly vows revenge or openly challenges you. So that also is going to happen.
You're going to get in a fist fight with a priest.
That's great. Valentin de la Tour.
Page 86 on the table. At the bottom is insult. You have to have a requirement. What terrible, regrettable words do you utter? So you might have to go a little bit farther there, Valentin. And then when you succeed at that...
Well, they called them a shitty priest, and that is not responsible for anything here. In a house of God. In his church.
You may have been chosen by God, but just as Moses was a stammerer, you have no brother Aaron to speak for you.
There we go. And then you have to pick whether that priest is going to quietly vow revenge or openly challenge.
Punching each.
So where's that saying for? How do I know that's what happens there?
At page 85 at the bottom of the turn structure list, is that pass the Saint Foix or miss your next action.
Yes, that I got. But
okay.
where was the vow revenge part?
The bottom
victory
of
effect.
page 86. Yeah, victory effect.
But they haven't won yet.
Well, no. The victory of an insult.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
You succeeded at an insult, and therefore
Right.
they're going to do this thing.
So
All right, let me write
hypothetically,
down-
this priest could win the duel of wits, but regardless, they'll still swear this
Sorry.
revenge. or
Exactly.
challenge.
First,
Yeah.
first session, learning everything. This is important. We're gonna have a lot more duel of wits from after this now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let me. He quietly vows a revenge as he's stammering.
Who is this?
That's awesome.
We have
Father
we're-
Pierre Etain is technically who he is.
Right now.
With a monocle. Remember, he's the monocle.
It probably drops out of his eye when he stammers.
No, exactly. No, it's thank you. No, that's exactly what happens. You charge at him, Grant. You point at him. You accuse him, right? You're like in his face, and his like he tries to stammer, and the monocle, like his eyes go wide, his monocle falls out as he's trying to put his monocle back, and you're like, Monsieur. Like, yeah.
How dare you!
Right?
That's so
no,
good.
No, like that's so. I know. We're like trying to get the mechanics right, but that is what's happening
yeah.
fictionally, right? So
Oh, that's great.
It's back to you. He stammers. He doesn't happen. Just so you know, he's less than half. So like, if you wanted to press that, you totally could and win. But it's your turn again. What's
You
your?
can't. You can't insult again because
Yes.
you can only insult every other turn.
Yeah,
just like
so
real
I-
life.
You have to spice it up.
Now,
yeah,
bribe
so I
me.
think
Now that I have
Yeah.
your full attention, here's a big old bag
Yeah.
of money.
yeah.
Well, you can implore, right? Because the
Mhm.
victory effect there is they're going to do what you ask them to do.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to let them know. So, let bygones be bygones. Let's put this behind us and restore your good name in this church by repenting anew and letting us pass. Change your behavior.
Oh dang. Okay, so you're imploring. You're intimate there. That's against their wisdom.
Yep.
Okay. Do I tell you that? I mean, I told you what it was last time.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I got
That's
a 14.
great question. I don't know.
We'll see how it
You
goes.
don't-
You
you
know
don't
what
succeed.
it is. I rolled a 14.
You don't succeed.
Well,
Mortal coil.
I'm all in on Mortal Coil, man.
I mean, or they can try against you, and it's not like you have will.
I do, but I'd rather, beat them up a little bit. So they're not going to do it.
No, a 14 does not succeed. You did not
If you
beat
miss,
the target
there is
wisdom.
no effect.
Yeah,
unless
no, I
otherwise
get it.
noted,
So
sir.
what's the next step? So I failed. I get that failed. So
Their turn.
do I keep attacking? They get attack.
Yeah.
All right.
The reason why you got to attack twice is because you stunned them with your insult.
Yes, got
right?
it.
To the point their monocle fell out.
Yeah, I should have gone all in on the smooch. Keep that priest busy while you sneak in
Yeah,
and find
seduce.
Anton's dead
I'm
body.
just waiting
No,
for you to
that-
seduce, man.
Why wasn't that your first? You walk in, don't even introduce yourself. Just
Just fine.
right to smooch.
Because
him.
I'm Grant,
they
not
know who they
Marcy,
are.
right? So it's like,
I just grab him by the back of the head and just kiss him passionately.
that's the way our D&D campaign's going. My pretty boy paladin.
Yes, perfect.
God.
So
Ooh.
Mouston
oh.
and Picard are just kind of here, right? We're not involved in the duel with.
Yeah, like he's kind of stamped forward. You sort of have to defer
Mm-hmm.
to him because he's the noble.
Sure.
Ooh, but I could use you as leverage. You're all
Yeah,
musketed and be like, do you want my
I
friend here to
literally
in your life?
have
Yeah.
You have a
you
musket
told
and
me-
you have a little fucking burning thing of coal in your hand, right, or whatever it is.
The match cord.
fire, the match cord. Yeah, like but you also have like the embers, right, that you need to do the light stuff.
Do you have it all lit and ready to start?
I presume
Yeah.
you did. That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
When we started here, you were saying you were like getting everything ready.
That's so
Perhaps
good.
I was not clear. Picard Saint Michel is 6'3",
I mean-
and
Wide.
wearing
I mean, I
like
think. Yeah.
a Marion helmet, right? Like with one of those metal soldiers' helmets. He's wearing a buff coat, which is like the coat that cavalrymen or pikemen would wear under their breastplate. It has a bullet hole right over the heart, and is carrying this giant musket with a lit match cord in one hand.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is
Oh,
who's
yeah.
that's who's standing
That's good.
behind Valentin right now, saying nothing and gently curling his mustache upwards.
Something else for you to know, Grant. Because you have higher precedence, if you're in speaking or shouting distance, you get a +2 to your roll. So you might not want to just sit there in intimate forever.
Right up in his face.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe play it up for the crowd, as it were.
You've got the reputation to consider.
Right. So
Got
right
it.
now you're like in his face. You're like telling him directly in a space that maybe Valentin or excuse me, or Picard or Mustan maybe couldn't hear you per se. I mean, it's quiet. It's kind of a quiet
No, I
church
get it.
though, but
Yeah,
you heard him
it's
if you
fair.
wanted to. Yeah.
It's one of these things. We're up close, and that's the way we're doing it now. But it's his attack.
Well, yeah, they say, Monsieur, this is a house of God. You know, you cannot.
Then why are you here? Sorry.
Oh, gotta wait.
You gotta wait.
Gotta insult every other turn. Every other
I
turn.
get it.
We understand. You are a busy man of great reputation. Leave us at once and return in the morning. We will help you when our dispositions are better. You know, like this is clearly a bad time, and leave. He is imploring you all to get out of here, or specifically you. So he's gonna try to target your wisdom here.
Well, I'm dumb as rocks, so no, my wisdom's 9.
Okay.
Critical
You will
fail.
not be
His
swayed.
monocle drops again.
Well, all right, that's me. Classic Eric here.
Yeah. I
Right.
appreciate it, Eric. Grant, did you force your way into the intimate space?
No, he
I
moved.
was just walking closer and more closely.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to turn back and play to the crowd and just say, well, if he won't be reasonable, perhaps Picard is a bit more persuasive. And I just want him to get a good look at this towering, imposing, mountain of a musket man.
You're threatening him.
I'm going to be gently lighting my pipe with the magic board.
Yeah.
Like eye contact.
So I'm threatening.
Yeah, you're definitely threatening. Sounds good. You got to beat a 10. And you're also now at speaking distance.
Well, then
15,
it's a
did it.
15.
Well, doesn't matter because you got it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a D6 damage.
4.
Okay. They lost. You get
Blubbers for mercy.
Yep. You choose the appropriate victory effect, and that takes hold. Yeah, no, they call your they're gonna blubber for mercy, right? Like the monocle falls out again.
Third time's a charm.
You brought a gun to the house of God. The monocle comes out.
The Savior says
hear
he brings not a message of peace, but a sword, as I point at mine.
Oh, look at you.
I do say, yeah. The night is yours, monsieur. Very
Where is
well.
he being kept?
The basement, and with the rest of the rabble.
There's a bunch of rabble down there. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And he says, but we cannot guarantee that he has been well kept for. But I promise you, hand on my heart, good sir, that no fell deed happened in this church.
Let it be on your soul, then.
Yeah.
All right, I'm making my way towards the basement.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. Yeah, no. You all gotta go in the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Awesome. Okay. So this is even better because Anton's here. Anton's like deathly sick down here, right?
Oh, yeah, this is way better.
And he is I literally like Les Miserables, dungeony, like not like sells manacles and shit, but just like
No,
is crowded with like 30 other people in like a 20-foot room.
He's
right?
paler than
He's-
normal.
Exactly, super pale by candlelight. He looks like he's been beaten up. His eyes swollen shut. He's super pale. He looks like he's like just like coughing, like there's a snot like on his nose, and it's like just that sickly kind of green. Like he's clearly like contracted something,
Oh.
right? And like he smells like death. Like when I say that, like
I get
literally, like he's dying, but also like it smells bad here anyways. It generally smells bad in Paris, surprising nobody. But the thing I really want to point out here is that he smells like a tomb.
You're pulling out my kerchief, putting it over my
Yeah.
mouth. Oof.
He is utterly, yeah. So like he really smells like a crypt.
Anton, we missed you at the bar.
That's- come closer, my friends. Is that 3 angels? 3 knights to rescue me. He laughs.
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5, Anton.
Picard. I'm sorry.
I've come, finally, to the city, and you so quickly seek to leave it, apparently.
Oh, you're so good.
And Picard is gonna just gently like take the pipe out of his mouth and like give a nice fortifying puff to Anton. Good for the lungs, very helpful.
It's fortifying.
Cures tired blood. Geritol. No,
Yeah, he's not gonna make it. Right? Like as a soldier, Muscat in this light,
Yeah.
you know, like this person's gone. They're not gonna survive the next, the evening. His hands are frozen, like cold,
Anton, what has caused you to step 1 foot into heaven?
I have seen it. It's real,
Seen what?
my friends. If I must pass and depart from this world, I know I will be risen up with Most High. For I've seen the Holy Grail. You think he's just like delusional, right? Like he's
Yeah,
I'm loving the music for this, by the way.
Yeah.
I know.
I know it's real good for this
intense. I want to watch this movie. Like,
It's real. It's as real as you. And he tries to like reach out like his hand like gently.
I gently take his hand and kiss it.
aw.
Anton, I'm no man of faith, and you know this. I've never believed in much, and you know this. But I swear here and now before the closest men who can be in this world, if this be even but a game, as we once played together as children, I shall play it to its completion, and with a full heart, Anton. With a full heart, always.
And Anton, I am no man, but I have faith in the cup of Christ.
Please. I know you must think of me as I have let you all down. I couldn't. But they forced me to work below the city. Here.
Where is your work? We might take it away from these.
I tried to stop them, and he says, beneath the little lamb, it's I saw the texts, but you can't. And he says, basically, he tries to say like in the stammering way of like someone who's sick, but that he kind of tells you what I told you on the break is that the church made like forced him to work on this stuff late, and they are not as they seem. They are. The devil walks among them.
Give me a name, Anton, and another devil shall visit them.
The pair, Francisco. And he passes.
Aw. So our story begins a tragedy.
No, as he wait, I think
I like it.
no, I
He
I do.
passes, then
I
his
do.
eyes
No, he
open again.
passes.
One more.
No, that's not also the thing. He like his hand kind of like falls down, but in kind of like a pointed kind of way.
Yeah.
And like near him is like the scribblings in the dark of like some notes from him. Right?
Picard hands those immediately over to Mouston.
Yeah, I secreted away. You have no idea where they ended up.
They just
Somewhere
like
under my
disappear.
cloak.
Yeah. Pierre Francisco.
Anton's writing.
Right. So I'll make a handout of this, of the notes here, but the first thing you look at it is a few things, and the first one is you see in French the Holy Legion of Our Lady as sort of like the big underlined bit, and then you can see sort of like little like sketchings that look sort of like a relative map, but obviously you don't have the frame of reference for the map. But he did as best he can. He kind of drew like the Cathedral of Notre Dame and kind of like a way, and you're kind of like close to it. You kind of like can see like, oh, this is kind of like, this is the little lamb, and like it's clearly like he's trying to remember where he's been, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a map. You've heard the ramblings. Is it true? But whatever it is cause your friend to perish. You have a letter from him. And that's...
And a name.
And a name. So I think that's going to be about the end of the first episode. I feel that's a good ending
solid.
Point. But let's talk about the game a little bit and for the last like 10 minutes or so here about it. So like full disclosure, y'all, like I was gonna start the game basically after this point of Anton dying and having the letter and like being the muses here, but I was like, the more I did it and the more I prepped, I was like, it'd be way more fun to actually play this out. This should be on screen, so we all feel like the stakes are a little bit higher.
Pilot.
Yeah, it's the pilot.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So that was cool. Rules were shaky with them. That's fair. It's the first session with a different game. Expect way more Duel of Wits to come up.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I see that in the other actual plays that I've read, because that's the only thing that I've read. I think pretty sure this is the first streamed version of this game. So sorry everybody if you're looking at this for rule reference, right? More of that. I think a little bit more fighting. Again, if you want to know about me and my prep for this game, I've been combining a lot of stuff with Silent Legions with this game, kind of ignoring a lot of like the Lovecraft and trying to put that away, and really just focusing on the locations, the tags of that, and sort of like the sort of like power-ish cults, because this game has a lot of political factions in it. And I'm just using that as sort of like places of power in terms of political power and stuff, not just like magical power and mystical power. And so like that's what they're really competing over. And that's sort of like my background of here. So that's kind of like my prep for this game, while we kind of just focus on whatever the characters want to do. And because it's the first session, I didn't want to say, hey, everybody, what do you want to do? Like it's Burning Wheel or something like that, and like focus on this stuff. I wanted to give a little bit more of like a forced push into the game. And then we're going to let it breathe in the next couple of sessions here of like, cool, let's like funeral, let's handle our current affairs and see how we balance sort of living affairs in Paris at this time with wanting to pursue our goals, which is really kind of like the game that we wanted to do here.
Yeah.
As well as sort of like hit our experience trackers and that kind of stuff. But I don't think we. So here's the thing. I don't think we roll at the end of each session for exertion. It's the end of the year.
Right. It's the end of a. It's the end of a sequence.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because if we rolled at the end of each
like an
session and we were
adventure.
doing 2-hour
Think of it,
sessions,
A sequence for me is about like you can't really like say it's going to be exactly 4 sessions or 5 sessions, but like typically when you develop your virtues and flaws, that's probably a sequence. Right. It's kind of like the same. For me, it feels right. That's about the same time.
Yeah.
And so I know you all can't see it on Roll20 here, but as well, but like I'm gonna keep a general like broad clock of the time of in game, where it's like beginning or mid or end of month kind of stuff here. And so I have one of 6 for spring filled in right now because it's technically we're at the end of that last bit of the clock. So I'm gonna tick that forward as we go into February, and so it's gonna be a third of spring is gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a chapter break.
Yeah,
is when you roll.
right.
Yeah,
So
totally.
so there might be times where things slow down. There might be times when things speed up, and we play moment to moment. So this game's very sort of flexible. But in general, I really like this. I like the characters. Shout out to you, Grant, for the Duel of Wits. That was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
think-
And yeah, even though we're figuring it out at first, it's like once it starts going, it's like, ooh, I love this. This is my thing.
I really like it because it's not a conversation, right?
Mhm.
Like a conversation you sort of role play out the organic back and forth, but a Duel of Wits is kind of for those moments when it's not a conversation, it's two people talking at each other. And
at each other.
I think it works really well for that very Dumas like wall of text and then they wall of text and like that back and forth and getting that the period's verbose sort of diction to really stretch its legs. I like that.
Totally.
God, that's so good. So also now this priest is kind of like an enemy because he hates
Yeah.
you now.
Oh, yeah.
You totally pissed him off, which is awesome.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
take my communion shot right next to him, give him the side eye.
Yeah. Oh, he's don't worry. He is. I think. Oh boy, how funny would it be if he's the priest presiding over the funeral?
Oh,
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
this
I'm
common
imagining
thief.
I'm imagining Picard like dipping out his lit match cord in the holy water on the way out, like just with a look, just be like, I'm Lutheran, I don't give a shit about you.
So like the 4 of you, or the 3 of you. So it's like the 3 of you are gonna like carry the body out then, right? And do the whole like give him a proper burial thing. Oh, that's awesome. Love that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. And then
And
it's
that's
gonna
happening while the credits are running. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And cool. So so we're gonna do that. Yeah, that's awesome. So we're gonna see a little bit of like how we grieve a little bit in the couple sessions. We're gonna see what they've been really working on, what it means when they saw like the Grail, like what and like how this is all gonna like unfurl, and tracking down like their sort of notes as well as sort of like everyone else who's kind of like after things. Spoilers: they're not really after the Grail. It's more the money and power that is under the city. But maybe who knows, that could change as things develop. So I'm super excited. This was the priest the Bavarian? No. The
Bavarian's on my list.
Yeah, Le Bavarois is he is a criminal, with basically immunity because he does a lot of the work of what do you call it when someone's sort of a not disposable but a deniable or like a
Deniable asset.
Yeah, kind of like a deniable asset. Like he works. He has protection from the church, and any wrongdoing, in exchange, he has to he does the unsavory tasks that the church doesn't want to get their hands in.
He's their factotum.
Yeah, he's their factotum. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just a very just when it comes to violence,
Yeah.
factotum is the word, right?
Some
a
factotums
myrmidon
are better.
Yeah, he's a myrmidon, right? He's
there you
he's
go.
a super loyal like lackey as long as the money is good, and he gets to do whatever he wants and beat up French people.
He
Right.
is really like the shadow of
you.
Le Muscat.
Yes.
Le Muscat is that to the Dilators.
Yes, I know, and that's what foils. Great narrative technique.
Solid.
Awesome.
Way
So
good.
yeah. All right. Any other things from y'all? Any comments? Any things?
Can you folks list off your advancement checkboxes for me really quick?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me pop back to that.
Because if we're going to be able to do anything without spending all of our life, then that's going to be the way to do it. And I also want people in chat to understand kind of the way that we proceed.
Yeah.
So, this would be the entry column is filled in because this is what I started in. So I'm looking at second.
No,
right?
we're looking at fourth because you have 3. You should have
Well,
3
no,
levels of
that's-
soldier.
That's filled in because it's been advanced 3 times.
Yeah.
Is if I recall you, Colin. That's why.
Okay.
Because
so I'm
when you
looking at
enter-
the column
you've-
that says fourth.
You've entered a life path. Yeah, you've entered a life path, and
Got it.
let me go to soldier. So we're looking at the same thing.
Yeah,
That's good.
okay. I'm looking at it right now. So for the fourth column, I have break
Yeah,
into and steal
it's-
valuables or stores of food despite the protests of the owner. Protect your mate in battle.
No.
Keep a fine hat, fancy cloak, or silken blouse.
What's up, Eric?
Do you so the way experience works, you have to fill in the column before you go to the next column, right?
Yeah.
So
That is
you go
correct.
down first, not over.
I see. So I've
Right?
I've already checked off.
That's why it's
3
columns.
boxes.
Yeah.
So the way the experience conditions go.
It's good we're talking about this.
Yeah. That's.
Is it
anyway,
row?
I've got to
Wait,
be
is it
Eric.
row first?
No, it is not row first. So
Oh,
the
that's
deal is
okay.
that to enter into a life path,
Yeah.
you have different requirements than later on. Because if you're starting as a soldier, you're just
Yeah.
standing your ground and defeating your opponent.
Okay.
And the other things you're not worried about yet. But later on, you'll need to stand your ground again, and then
Mhm.
you'll also need to score a critical hit, break into, protect your mate in battle, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay.
because the character creation starts you at level 3 of your life path, you're doing the column for 4.
Okay.
Well,
That's what I thought.
Not column for 4 is tricky because that's not what a soldier is. The soldier, if you fill in the first 3 advances possible, it's stand your ground, defeat an opponent, and then the rest of them are all filled in for the first one, the first column.
No, so in character creation, you're not starting at entry level in a life path.
Yes, you advance it 3 times.
So okay, I see.
So
the
advancing
question is
mean
whether
is advancing filling in the block, the checkbox, or is advancing filling in the entire column?
Advancing is the entire column.
Oh.
We recommend each player chooses one life path for their character and advances it to 3rd level.
Oh, so advancing to 3rd level means you start at the top of 3rd,
Well,
not filled in 3rd.
there you go. That makes sense.
Okay. It's not so advancing is not 3 checkboxes of work either. Starting at 2nd,
Right.
It's
right.
literally the entire. Oh, that makes way more sense to me. I'm sorry, my brain's small. That makes perfect
No,
sense.
it's
No.
that's why we're
So,
talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Okay, so that means
Okay.
Colin, your advancement
so
is
I'm looking
the
at
first
the
one.
third column.
The third column.
So I have to-
Third column. Yeah.
So
all
I
of it.
stand your ground under heavy musket fire artillery, defeat an opponent of greater skill or strength, score a critical hit with a musket, rifle, or pistol, break into and steal valuables or stores of food despite the protests of the owner, and protect your mate in battle. So,
And keep a fine hat, fancy cloak, or silken blouse. That one's also on that list.
oh, that is on 3rd, yes.
yeah.
So, but you must do the first ones before the other ones. Like it goes in order. You can't just
Is
like
that true?
yeah. There was a
Oh,
sentence
sad.
about that.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Good to know.
So for me, I have gained the favor of a powerful member of court. Fight a duel to defend your reputation. Increase your title or rank.
Wait, how do you interpret this sentence?
Yeah, talk to me.
No future. You can only fill conditions for the next level, not the levels beyond that. Is a
So
level
you can
a row?
you can only fill conditions for
Or is
no, it's
level
a column. A
Oh,
level is a
never
column.
mind then. Okay, you had it right.
Okay.
Then. That's
So
my
you
bad.
can't
I had it
he
set-
can't purchase a promotion
Yeah.
because he's not at that level of soldier yet.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Okay.
Okay.
I also can't show mercy to a worthy opponent yet.
well, not usefully anyways.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
usefully. Not for experience. But no, this makes okay. That makes perfect sense to me then. Okay, right. So Colin was right. You have all 6 of those. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a huge list.
You have a huge ass list. Did you? I don't think you protected your mate in battle. I don't think that experientially causes it.
I don't think I have.
And
checked
keep in
off
mind,
any.
y'all, for these sorts of experiences, like we should be proactively looking at these, and I'll look
Yeah.
at these as well for like prep. But keep in mind that like you don't just get to do it by like, not without any sort of role or stakes involved in this story,
Mhm.
right? It has to be stake worthy. It has to be story worthy. It's not just like I read a book. It's got to be because you're up all night reading through the extra bits that Anton has been going at, or whatever, right? Or like your finances, and because you're gonna get because now the church is after your estate because you're being a dick or whatever, right?
Mhm.
I don't know, but like in general, like there's a consequence, there's higher than that. So, anyways, we're cutting off. Grant, can you tell us your experiences again?
Yes. So there are 3. Gain the favor of a powerful member of court. Fight a duel to defend your reputation. Increase your title or rank.
Nice, and that's increasing your title or rank is via reputation.
Yeah. So you're definitely pushing that.
I listed. I think I added how you get reputation in the game as a handout. I did not.
Yes.
I did. Rep increases. It just needs to go under handouts. Yeah. So keep in mind, your reputation will be going up. Additionally, there's seasonal reputation, which is why I'm doing the clocks by season. And this way, like, you gave your word to the to that landlord, they'll get their money. By the way, that kind of stuff, right? And that if you fulfill that, that's technically 1 reputation.
And this is the other reason why I was asking if you forced your way into intimate space, because so you can enter if invited or if you have higher precedence. If you have higher precedence, then you're effectively forcing your way in.
Yeah.
And then if you're forcing your way in, you're going to suffer damage to your reputation equal to your target's precedence and 1d6 damage to will. So for future reference, like there is a politeness question here. As far as the factotum's concerned, I've got to make an important delivery for Aden, discreetly relay a vital message for them, and knock down a ruffian who insults them.
Well, yeah, about the spacing.
Yeah,
I think it's important to understand the context of a church.
Sure.
Churches are loud and echoey. We don't want to have this conversation far apart and like shout across pews. Yeah. We want to be kind of. I pictured it as like chapel etiquette. Like, if we're gonna talk, I got to be up close.
Yeah, like the social distance is kind of like dancing distance. Right,
but you notice at the end though, it's kind of like I'm backing away. We're gonna get loud on this church.
Right.
I imagine
like leaning in, like whispering kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah. The core of intimate distance is that nobody else is listening to you. It's just you and them.
I'm imagining the camera was looking and like they're ear to ear, and so the camera just kept switching sides with whoever was talking.
Yeah.
Monocle keeps dropping after every phrase.
Oh, I didn't even think of it that way, but like turning to the side and saying that kind of shit, right? And then like gesturing back, and then monocle guy looks behind, and Tan looks behind him and sees the musket. And he's like, what's up, dude?"
That's why the intimate distance difficulties are all target stats, and all the other ones are flat, because you're just talking to them.
Okay, yes, games. That makes sense now.
It's pretty solid.
Awesome.
Rockin'.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So we'll see more Aden. We'll see more, and we'll get more into sort of like the fallout of this kind of stuff. I think what I'll do is, I may stream it. I may not. I'm really sorry. I have to think about it right now. But I think I'm gonna do a little bit of the Silent Legion's faction-y stuff here as I make it the factotum, Aden, and the Frondeur sort of like goals and see what they're doing. And how this sort of like interacts, and that will sort of set the scene for the next session in terms of what's going on in the city.
Cool.
Because I feel like this game isn't supposed to necessarily be a sandbox. It's supposed to be a character-focused drama, but that helps inform me or suggest to me things I can flavor things in the game with, right? I know Luke has been working on a setting book and stuff with factions in the game, so like as soon as I get any wind of that, I'll probably convert some of that stuff to it, but because I know that's not really supported right now, so I'm just I built my own supports with what I know, and so sorry.
Luke needs to cool it.
That's
all right, I was like, well, there isn't a setting book. Maybe I could write the setting book for a game like this, and now apparently he's writing it. So
now 1648 is on the docs. That was part of the. They mentioned that in the Kickstarter that they
I know
been working that setting book.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to make an adaptation of this book for like the other countries. I'm gonna do the version.
Do the Dutch version.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The Amsterdam version of this game would be real good. I would do that. All right. Cool.
Rockin'.
All right. Let's do some outros.
Hey, I'm Adam. I'm doing lots of music stuff because it's really fun, and I'm working through this kind of monthly course. So I'm going to release some drum and bass later this month, and a bunch of ambient weird electronica stuff with my really crazy weird technology
Oh
stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
It's a good time. What are you doing, Colin?
This on I believe Monday, I'm going to be on a Pendragon campaign. And Thursdays I run a Symbaroum campaign over on Unmade Gaming, and that's all I'm doing publicly. So check me out at Colin at Like I See. How about you, Grant?
Hey, I've got a Kickstarter going on right now. It's fully funded, and we're driving towards our stretch goals. Check it out if you're into really cool mechanical extensions for the 5th edition of the world's first fantasy role-playing game. Debatable. I'm going to drop a link to that in chat. And you can check me out on Monday on Tabletop Babble and the most recent episode of WebDM.
I think next stretch goal for Grimworld is hiring
Questing
you to
Beasts.
write a smooching source book for the setting. Just about.
Oh, I hired your partner to do that. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Although Marcy recommended, just going to add, it's like you should have Colin and I write a bunch of fluff. And I was like, that's like the world's best idea. And I'm actually going to pitch them and say, kind of inspired my setting anyways.
Yeah. So one more time, what kind of setting is this, Grant?
Oh,
What
this
setting is
is so
Grimworld at
good.
kickstarter.com/Grimworld?
Grimworld is a fairy tale setting for 5th edition. I'm not going to call it D&D because 5e is just a framework. And it adds a bunch of mechanical extensions to it so you can play different story types. It's been inspired by all kinds of games such as Hot Guys Making Out or Polaris or Cypher System, Ryutama, etc. And we've worked very, very diligently to integrate these different mechanical subsets and rule systems. But 5e is a very popular framework, and it's easy to build out from that, as well as streamline play through other editions. Like if you've ever read my skirmish variants, like that's in there. It's like, oh yeah, you can run a D&D combat in 15 minutes and have everything that would have happened in a 2-hour combat happen if you streamline it.
And it funded 2 days ago, right?
It funded 2 days ago.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, we still have plenty of time left in the campaign, 22 days. So
Awesome. Yeah, cool. And then there's me, Grant. I need to look at your skirmish rules because this Tuesday I'm actually running a big old D&D game. It's my like giant midway through the campaign like epic battle. In fact, some other players who have left the show are coming back on like Avengers style.
Oh,
And,
nice.
we're like doing the whole big old battle against the big person. So I think some of those skirmish rules would be great for that. You can find that's going on. That's my Savage Tide game that's going on at Greyhawk channel. Let's see. Yeah, Monday is my Pendragon. We're doing character creation on Pendragon Monday night. On twitch.tv/Eric Fulgaris inside the Greyhawk. Just Eric Fulgaris for that stuff. In about an hour, I'm going to be over on Roll for It's Blades in the Dark game. This game, normally Miseries and Misfortunes will begin at much later than now, like 10 Pacific. But because of my other obligations, we had to do this early, and I'm super happy with it. What else? Let's see. I don't remember because it's super early and I need more coffee. So we're gonna do it there, everybody. So we'll be back for this weekly game and see where things go. But yeah, Miseries and Misfortunes, new Burning Wheel game. You can find it on burningwheel.com. It's super great. Yeah. So with that, we're gonna get out of here. So see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.